Any further discussion on the part of the commission? I neglected to ask if there were any questions from the audience earlier. Are there any questions from the audience? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. That's unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We have our first open day on June 21st, so if you want to come by and sort of check it out, you're more than welcome, and then we're open the whole month of July. Thanks.
Great, good luck.
Thank you so much.
So our last ABC case is 1501 9th Street Northwest. Many of you are familiar with Mandalay Burmese restaurant, and likely surprised to hear recently that due to several deaths in the family of the owner and chef, Mr. Mint, that he would be closing the restaurant in order to be able to relocate to Burma. And I do see that Mr. Mint is here in the audience. Our condolences on your losses, and sorry to lose you as a business in our area, but very glad that you were so thoughtful as to find a replacement concept to assume the space at Mandalay. You do still own the building, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
He's also adopted me as his new son, so I'm half Burmese, so I'm looking over the property. My name's R. Wilder. I'm one of the main partners at what was Mandalay and now will be called Chaplin. It's a early 1920s cocktail restaurant featuring Chinese, Japanese food primarily. We have a large patio and 2 levels of the same exact space as Mandalay was previously. We've done some minor changes cosmetically for the inside, but everything will else be the same. Ong is actually going to still be a partner of ours there, as just a silent partner, other than his emails and such, which I'll be receiving probably daily. And we were hoping to get extended hours because other than the previous, where Mandalay was before, we were hoping to kind of cater a lot more to the whole O Street Market development. And we believe that with the hotel and Marriott Marquis close by and convention center and no problem. I was actually waiting for you. We were hoping to stay open a little bit later to cater to the new development on the O Street Market. So with the 5 towers that have gone in, residential and retail, and then and having sort of a lot more demand for food in that area, we believe strongly that from on our side of 9th Street from Rhode Island down to New York, we think that there's a greater demand for food and late night service kind of, and then also like doing a lot of takeout, probably working with the developers to do delivery to the O Street Market Towers and such, and then Hotel Cambria hosting events and private events and all that. So the extended hours were kind of catered, we were working on that to cater to the new demand in the area and feeling and kind of doing some market analysis and realizing there's not a ton of restaurants that are actually staying open late to do takeout, delivery, and just being open for the neighborhood, as well as the patio space that we have. Obviously, we would only keep the patio open until midnight on every day, hopefully. Just so there isn't noise violations and any issues with the neighbors and such, but being able to keep the actual restaurant open until last call, 1:30 on the weekdays, 1 or 2:30 on the weekends, because we can keep the kitchen open an hour before that. So it would be 12:30 and 1:30 on the weekends and weekdays and weekends, and then the patio closing every night at 11:45. To make sure that we don't have any noise violations or cause any problems with the neighbors.
And you also have a public space permit application for the patio.
Yes. Yeah.
How many seats are you contemplating having out there?
There's, right now, there's 55 seats. Ong had used about a 22-seat area for parking, which was initially approved for actual seating. So he removed the railing and condensed the patio to like 55 seats roughly. We're aiming for around 63 to 68 total seating out there, because we will not be using the parking spaces as actual parking. Ong is also gonna hand over his condo, and he doesn't know it yet, and then I'll have keys to that, and then I'll just park that back in his spot. But the actual parking spaces that he was using will now just be for actual patio. So I believe we applied for 63 seats, roughly.
All right, any comments from members of the commission?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
of course. Entertainment endorsement, yes or no?
We would
I
like.
can't tell from this application, it looks like it might have been crossed out.
We have not applied for it, but we were thinking in the future we would like to, just for some kind of like live, like some jazz, live music on the upper level, just because the whole Charlie Chaplin theme is like a cinematic kind of experience. As of right this second, we have not applied for it. But we-
Now, will it, Alex, this is a question really to you. We already approved an outdoor cafe for them?
Yes, yes.
Do they have to go through the process again?
No, they actually have a license or an amendment to their license, which was approved by the ABC board, but not issued because they didn't have a public space permit for the patio. So
Okay.
when they can supply the public space permit to Abra, then Abra will issue a new license that incorporates that ability to serve.
And will there be a settlement or a voluntary agreement?
We will have an agreement with them.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the part of the commission? Questions on the part of the public?
I have one question. So you're saying the parking spot that currently exists, that will be given up and that will be instead part of the seating?
Yeah.
Free seating?
Exactly. So on P Street, there was an additional like 16 seats, which had condensed, like, so he removed the railing from what had initially gone all the way to the alleyway right there. He had moved it in order to create more parking spots for his family and himself. We are gonna we're gonna put the railing pretty much just back where it was initially, where it was approved to be, that goes on within 6 inches of the actual alleyway entrance, and that will just be seating. So we'll just forfeit the parking.
Of course, that has nothing to do with taking up more space for the street at all?
No,
Towards the
no,
alley?
yeah.
All right, this location is in my single-member district, and I am supportive of this, so I will move that Advisory Neighborhood Commission 6E support the request for extension of hours for this establishment, and also that we support the public space permit to allow outdoor seating, and this will be subject to the signing of a settlement agreement between the commission and the operators, and that we communicate that support to the ABC board. And I would ask for a second.
A second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the part of the commission? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
We next have a presentation on census jobs by the U.S. Census Bureau. Is the representative from the census here?
Hi, I'm Al Milliken. I'm a recruiting assistant with the U.S. Census Bureau. And if you haven't heard, later this summer, parts of Northwest DC and Montgomery County, Maryland are being used as a preparation for the 2020 census. It's the only area in the country that is actually going to be doing an actual census. There's going to be the use of technology, iPhones, GPS systems, which really haven't been used in past census, which, the last one was 2010. But everyone that gets a job with the 2014 census needs to take a test. It's 30 minutes, and there's actually an additional testing that can be done in Spanish, or if you're being considered for a supervisor position. But we're using most of the libraries in Northwest DC and Montgomery County, including this one. I just put out materials. Feel free to take whatever you would like, and if you know anyone that would like a good paying job, everything is strictly temporary. The office positions start at $14 an hour. Those in the supervisor positions are actually being hired right now, and office positions some have already been filled, but they're going to be ongoing employment opportunities at least through mid-August, and the testing right now is being scheduled through mid-August. The jobs for the enumerator, which actually would be, the people that go to the households that don't actually turn in their census forms, those jobs start at $17 an hour, go to $18.50 an hour. The crew leaders are getting paid a similar rate. Supervisors go up to $20, $21.50 an hour. So if anyone actually has a space that could test perhaps at least 18, maybe up to 25 people at a time to do this 2014 census test, which is 30 minutes long, please let me know. My census phone number is 202-309-6157, 202-309-6157 to reach me directly.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that number again?
202-309-6157.
Also your name, please.
Al Milliken, Millikan. The business cards, brochures, flyers have the toll-free number, which everyone should call if they're interested in taking the 2014 census test, or the other test that I mentioned. You can do it in Spanish. You would take the test in Spanish. You also need to take an English proficiency test, and there's going to be over 1,000 jobs available, just on this temporary basis, and it's helping prepare for the 2020 census, which is part of our U.S. Constitution. So, I don't know if anyone has any questions.
I have one. Oops, sorry.
Go ahead.
You are testing and hiring people to work through till September of this year?
Yeah, I mean, the jobs are strictly temporary, and while you're working, there's like an expectation to work at least like 20 hours a week. There is flexibility with scheduling hours, and you can, at least when the work is available, work up to 40 hours a week, and in special exceptions, there may be a possibility for overtime. But,
I guess I'm confused. If there's no census until 2020, why are you doing hiring now and for a couple of months? What are they going to be censoring? I mean, what's the point?
yeah, it's going to be run just like a regular census, and actually the part of Northwest that is being tested is like west of 7th Street, but it goes up to the Maryland line, and it goes like as far south as the White House. I'm actually responsible for the most southernmost region, which goes down to New York Avenue, and then Pennsylvania Avenue, and then the majority of Northwest DC is being covered for this, and it's really just. I know there's going to be the experimentation with this new technology, and I think that's the main purpose. But I think there's, every year probably until 2020, there will be other select areas of the country that will be used, to prepare for the 2020 census.
Are people required to respond as they are with the 20, you know, the big census?
Yeah, I
rate?
think, yeah, there's gonna, if everyone that's in this area, that's gonna be tested is expected to respond. And then the enumerators, their job will be to make sure everyone gets counted.
It's not gonna change anything that
And
requires
yeah,
census to
according to,
change.
yeah, the Census Bureau, everything is kept strictly confidential as far as even, you know, for the, you know, when you're applying for a job or then actually when you're being counted for the census.
How are you going to let people know that this is something they have to do?
Well, there's
Since
already.
most people know it's every 10 years.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, if you get in touch with me, I can give you my email too. It's almilliken@msn.com, almillikan@msn.com. They have official blurbs, fact sheets, these brochures and flyers. This is all available online, you know, and everyone is free to copy them and distribute. But yeah, and making notices, you know, like informing others, you know, even your constituents or whatever about the upcoming census. They like you to use the, you know, official words that they've produced. Just the newest partner I have to do testing is part of the Shaw community, the Shaw Community Ministry, which actually met those people at the Shaw Main Streets annual meeting. We're starting next Monday, every Monday and Thursday through June. We're going to be doing testing at their site that they've leased at the Lincoln Temple United Church of Christ at 11th and R. So I think it's 1701 11th Street. But we've been doing testing at the Watha Daniel Shaw Library, Martin Luther King Junior Library. I've been regularly testing at the West End Library. So other, you know, the Cleveland Park, Palisades, Georgetown libraries are all being used for testing. And we're open to new test sites. If anyone, you know, up through probably the middle of August, this testing will go on.
So I'd like to actually go back to Commissioner Maceda's question. Is participation by the subjects in the study area required, legally required, or is it voluntary? Or are you not able to answer that question?
Yeah, I'll bring this up at our meeting this week. I mean, everyone is expected to respond to the census. I'm not even sure in past years, you know, if, do you know?
In the decennial census, you know, compliance is required. It's legally required. So that's why I'm curious as to whether or not that's also the case in this instance, or whether this is just a test and people can offer to cooperate or not. So, but I guess we'll follow up with that.
Yeah, and I mean, it is part of the training. I even in 2009, like in some of these neighborhoods, going to North Capitol Street, I was identifying addresses in that operation, actually following up on other people's work. And, you know, we were actually identifying, you know, not just the residences and then, well, businesses and offices that where someone may not be residing, but then, like, even if there were trailers or campsites, even in like cardboard boxes where homeless people, you know, may be residing, you know, that was part of the training to identify them, yeah. And then, and you know, usually, you know, at least from what I've learned in the training, you know, there are people that are non-cooperative, and, you know, there's ways that you talk to neighbors or, you know, try to get that information, you know, so make sure everyone is counted. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just as a point of interest, my building, security-wise, unless it's official and it is required and mandatory, you won't get in our building.
Yeah, I think.
It's as simple as that.
They should be able to get in, I would think. I mean, this is.
I don't think so, not unless it comes from somebody that says you absolutely have to. And that goes for quite a few high-rise buildings. Just as a point of interest, you need to check it out.
I'll bring it up with our, we have a conference call meeting on Thursday. I'll ask about that, yeah.
Well, yes, there's another question.
I guess another obscure question. Since they're temporary jobs, there's no restriction on like federal retirees, you know, doing it, or is there?
Yeah, and we actually, yeah, and it like, we actually, in the introduction, we asked if anyone has been a federal worker or worked for the US military. There's actually preferential treatment given to veterans, particularly if you have like disability or the 214 form, but if you're a retired government worker, if you have a buyout, like in the last 5 years, there's a special waiver form you need to sign because you're allowed to work, but like every dollar that you got bought out, that has to be paid back to the government. So most people don't want to work for free, so. But it is a possibility, even if you've been a federal employee,
Ma'am, did I see your hand up before?
Yes, I wanted to ask, since the subject matters are right in this particular area, northwest, so that will not include anyone from northeast or southeast?
We're not turning anyone away for testing. And we've been having people come from, Anne Arundel County. We've had people come from Pennsylvania, people desperate for jobs.
You're
But it's-
hiring outside of the district?
The Montgomery County is also, the test area. But, where you live is, the preferred people that get at least to count, the neighbors in the residential neighborhoods are, they're doing their best to try to hire people that live in the neighborhoods. And that's what they've done in past census. But then, they're also, if you have bilingual or multilingual skills, that's very advantageous. The census, doing whatever they can to try to get everyone counted, and prepare for this 2020 census.
I'm sorry, but what I want to make clear, are you saying that if you don't live in, I know you have people from all over that come and take the test, that participate and take the test and maybe work, but you also said that they would give preferential to those who live in the area.
Yeah,
So
and
that
actually.
means- So does that mean that people who are out south, northwest, living in DC would not be given some kind of preference for the jobs?
There's a whole mix of jobs. In fact, this is part of the introduction we give during the testing. The test score is very important. Where you live is a factor, but this whole combination of factors, the language skills, the veteran status, they all play a factor in who's hired. I've actually had, in my own testing experience, not only at West End Library, but I've been at the Shaw Library, I've been at the DC Baptist Convention on 16th Street, First Baptist Church at 16th and O, Martin Luther King Library. I've had more people from Northeast and Southeast DC applying for jobs than I have from Northwest DC. So that's been my experience. And they're all, most of the enumerator jobs, the main job they're hiring for, those won't start till July. But some of the office positions, there's one woman that I tested at the DC Baptist Convention, that's on 16th and Corcoran between Q and R. She got hired as a recruiting assistant since that test. She's doing the same type of work that I am here, doing testing mainly at this point. But also we're going around to the businesses, offices, wherever we can in the test area to make people aware of what's going on. Yeah. Right now, mainly the testing. The census day for this trial run is designated for July 1st. And then after that, just like regular census, 10 days after that, they may start contacting people if you don't return your census form.
So there's actually going to be forms mailed out?
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay.
And part of, what they're considering, there's been a few news stories that even I've seen in the Post, and because of the problems, the government shut down, the sequestering, they were a little behind schedule, and not up to where they wanted to be exactly, but there's a possibility, and it hasn't made a determination. Like in 2020, there might be a possibility of people able to fill their census forms online. As far as I know that, no decision has been made on that, and I haven't heard if that's going to be a possibility for this census. this summer, for this area, yeah.
All right, sounds like there's a little more information for us to gather so that we can be prepared for what appears to be a census of Northwest Washington DC. But certainly, I guess the main thing is that some temporary jobs are available, and that if people are interested in those, they should pursue those opportunities now.
Yes,
All right, thank you very much.
thank you.
So that concludes the business that we had on the agenda. We also have some internal matters which we'll turn to, and I also had a request that the commission support the installation of Scoop Your Poop signs on the 400 through 1,000 blocks of P Street Northwest.
Why don't we say
As
your
a
entire
potential,
neighborhood,
as a potential pilot program.
entire area, entire ENC?
We can ask for that.
Because it's a big mess on M Street. It's unbelievable, so.
So is that something that everyone is
Yes.
seeking for
Yes.
throughout their SMDs?
You bet,
I think it should be
The whole
totally
thing.
throughout.
the whole world.
And
Everyone
maybe
wants
we
it.
want to look into some of the signs, Alex, that are a little more cutesy.
They
There are,
have a sign, Marge, they have a sign.
If you look on the back of the newsletter, there's a sample of a sign that DDOT has previously used.
well, I think sometimes people get offended by some of those signs that may be so, are we paying for them?
No, we're not paying for them. If the District Department of Transportation has the funding to install them, then that would be the source of funding.
But then what is the District Department of the Environment has something to do with it too now?
I know it's DOE.
Someone, yes, yes.
Are you aware whether or not any other communities in Ward 6 have asked for these signs and where they got
Yes,
them?
there are just recently coming into vogue. Someone's discovered that they are there, they can't get them. And so I think accumulation of the whole population is sort of pressing the issue a bit, that maybe people ought to be more reliable in carrying their little bags around and picking up after the animals.
I think it would also be nice, not that we're gonna do this at the moment, but there's lots of places that put out bags. I don't know what it's called, the sign with the bag thing on it. And
Bag dispensers.
Doggy station.
Doggy station, whatever you wanna call it, maybe we need to look
I
at.
think that may cost.
And who's gonna pick that up, that's another.
Well, that's a problem we had in the area Valley of March, excuse me, but we have those bags there with the stands on it, and people still drop right on the ground, so you have an even bigger problem, because they're not put into the garbage receptacle.
I don't see that in my neighborhood, because we do have a number of buildings that have put them in, either inside the building or right outside the building.
Inside.
And so that it is something that people actually do. But yeah, the other sign we need is please throw your chicken bones in the trash.
I don't think DDOT has a sign for that.
Don't have one for that? Because that's the other issue I get crazy
Well,
over.
pass along, you can raise chickens in your backyard.
Thank you, Naomi, and thank you also, in case folks don't know who Naomi is, but Naomi Mitchell is with the Office of Councilmember Wells, our Ward 6 council member, so thank you for being here this evening. And I also wanted to note that Charles Allen, who is the Democratic candidate to succeed Mr. Wells as the Ward 6 council member, has joined us as well, and we'll ask if you want to say a few words in a couple of moments as well. So I'm hearing the consensus of my colleagues. I would move that Advisory Neighborhood Commission 6C request that the District Department of Transportation and/or the District Department of the Environment install signage related to the legal obligations to scoop dogs' poop, and that we communicate that request to the District Department of the Environment, District Department of Transportation, and the Mayor of the District of Columbia. And I would ask for a second.
I'll second.
Any further discussion on the part of the commission? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you very much, that's unanimous. So we have,
Was that motion, was that throughout the entire Ward 6?
No.
Is that
no,
for
throughout the
6E?
commission.
Just for 6E?
Correct.
We can't vote.
We're not going to impose something on folks that are not in our jurisdiction.
Okay.
So I'd like to take up we have one other item that we had hoped to deal with outside of the commission's normal meetings, just as a preliminary, but since we were not able to do that, several grant applications have been received by the commission, and there are a couple of issues that the commission should resolve before those applications are transmitted to our grants committee for evaluation and recommendation to the full commission. The first of those is whether or not grants will be made to entities other than nonprofit organizations. So currently, our past experience has been that grants have only been made to nonprofit organizations who have the responsibility to complete the necessary reports that document the expenditures and how the funds were used, and so that the commission can submit those reports to the DC Auditor's Office for final approval. Because if we don't get all those records in, then the commission is liable to have those funds taken out of their bank account. So I would put it to the members of the commission to discuss whether or not we should consider making grants to entities other than nonprofits.
So my first question is, what's the deal with this, with the camera business? Is that a go or a no-go, or?
This is a preliminary before it goes to the committee.
So what, are
So
the
they haven't
cameras on the
received-
table or not on the table?
There are no grants that are on the table
But
tonight.
for future, like say.
Well, that's not fair, Alex, because there is a grant that was submitted originally in April, then was resubmitted in May, and it is now June the 3rd, and these people have been waiting patiently. It is something that's going to support lots of people in the 6E community, and I don't think it's fair to make people wait until, we make changes. I think what's in place right now has to be supported with what's in place right now. And I don't think it's fair to those people to come before us by submitting the proper documentation and not be heard or not be considered. We can change grant information